Legendary Ganges in the spiritual traditions of India, besides the Himalayas, a symbol of the greatness and heroic spirit of the nation, the Ganges Gang is considered sacred image. A power potential intrinsic, a superior ability Vietnam, and is an inexhaustible fountain of feelings that people often dream about. For Hindus, the river is home-made sacred tributaries, is a goddess capable of purifying all the pollution of worldly life, and it is like a mother with magic powers that the Vedic scripture every honor and praise. In the work Discover India, the late Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru of India 1889 to 1964 expressed his devotion to the Ganges as follows. The Ganges, other than the Indian River, the main is a place to keep the heart of India, has attracted millions of people to its waterfront since the dawn of history. The story of the Ganges, from source to sea, from past to present, is the story of civilization and culture of India, of the rise and demise of the empire, the city of the great and proud, of the adventure of discovering the human and the mind, has long urged the Indian philosopher, of the richness and completeness in life, or the denial and renunciation of the downspour. The rise and decay of life and death originates from Gangotri in the Himalayas peaks, across a 2,510 kilometers long delta, and flows into the Bay of Bengal. The Ganges is considered the most sacred river in India. According to the Mahabharata and Ramayana, Aryan race usually reside in the Ganges River Delta because this river is the source of the 7 sacred rivers in India. The various myths about the origin of this river is found in the epic, the last legendary Sanskrit chant shelves. One of the most common myths recounted as follows. Legend: King Sagara had 2 very lovely wives, because the grace of Shiva, born first wife was 60,000 sons. Second wife just gave birth to a single child, it's the Gyasa Manhos. While 60,000 other boy eager to learn and practice to become warriors, then Risawasa man his much suffering to the people in the country. To stand father forced to pursue this monstrous sons out from his kingdom. One day the king held a ceremony Sagara catch horses. In this ceremony, a wild horse in a field release and the other 60,000 princes will pursue recaptured. Those who catch his horse is considered to be the winner, and all the rest have to admire him. While the prince was immersed chase horse, the horse suddenly he disappeared. After a tense argument, the prince was the excavation, each row, deep sea diving to the abyss, to try to find his horse. Finally, they discovered the other horse was in a deep cave near the sanctuary. Kapila was meditating. The princes dressed all together began his horse, but trying to catch the horses because they were doing holy work to Kapila. Kapila extremely angry, and he was burned alive by the other princes, flames emanating from his glower when the victim that his son, King Sagara, extremely painful. He then sent his nephew to visit holy Ansuman Kapila, almost eager to save the soul of Prince. Kapila admired style and Ansuman, and his gestures indicate that only the water of the Ganges on the natural world led to the souls of transcendence, and the prince was born to heaven. Lifetime though prayer and ceremony to invite the goddess set the Ganges from heaven to earth to bring river water. King Sagara, Ansuman, then Dilopa, son of Sagara, have not been invited to this goddess, until the Bhagirathi, son of Dilopa. The other goddesses approved knew this supplication prayer. After the ceremony, Bhagirathi was very fervent in practice. However, Shiva only knew can be born goddess Ganga in this physical plane, and thus this goddess can down to earth. So Bhagirathi must meditate intensely and solemn setting for a long time to come to the bridge from time to Shiva, and then it was Bhagirathi wishes. Finally, from the natural world, the Ganges flows into the hair and Shiva's feet before flowing into the ground. According to the Hindus, the Ganges flowing from the place where heaven Shiva's feet is the Gangotri region today. Just as the Ganges flows into the ground, got into the horse returned Bhagirathi where the prince burned alive. Ganges flows Bhagirathi legs go there, and finally the prince, that is transcendence. where the ashes of the princes joined in the Ganga Sagar island is from place Ganges starts flowing into the ocean. Ganga is mentioned several times in the myths and legends of ancient India in connection with many other deities like Shiva and Vishnu. In the Middle Ages, the two goddesses Ganga and Yamuna are engraved on both sides of the entrance of the Hindu temple. Goddess Ganga is often portrayed in the shape of a woman riding a crocodile, a symbol of the dangers of death and the affluence of life whenever dawn. All religious activities here again awoke, vibrant and bustling. The Hindu ascetics ringing river landing and raised the lamps of fire toward the rising sun, shady forest mouth chanting while people poured into the river bathing, who lit candles. The offering of flowers. There are those who yoga postures sitting under the row of rooms along the level, each group of birds flying in the sky dim, many tourists walking boat rivers meet. Droplets over the water and watch the dawn rising across the river. Living on the banks of the Ganges itself gently drift over time, and the traditions have always been people living on both sides to uphold. The river has a gentle as mothers generous with their children. Perhaps not only the indigenous people can feel the sacred Ganges, the great that even the guests coming from distant countries thousands of kilometers here also feel that, regardless, everyone who comes first river are also respectful bow to the greatness, sanctity of the legendary river. And sure, the feelings of the Ganges would never fade in the hearts of even ones has had.